Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I want to wire up my FNR switch. And I'm dedicating this video just to an FNR switch. And you might be thinking, are you serious? This whole video is just going to be dedicated to the FNR switch. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to be running a regular FNR switch. Most FNR switches is just a rocker switch, right? It's generally mounted right here on the front of the body. In my last video where I installed the 12-volt lithium battery and the mic tuning 8-gang accessory controller, if you haven't seen that video, I'll post it up here or at the end of this video. I talked about this body here. We shaved the entire front of the body. I showed mounting a aftermarket charging receptacle in a hidden location on this golf cart. And I did that because the front of the body is shaved. So there's no charging receptacle on the front of the body, and there's no FNR switch on the front of the body either. We've came this far, we've shaved some things, we got some things painted, we custom mounted some things, and I think just putting a basic FNR switch in the dash, that ain't gonna cut it. So the FNR switch that comes stock with these golf carts, it takes 3 wires. It has 3 different terminals. One is a power input, and 2 outputs. One goes for the forward and one goes for the reverse. So this is what I have planned on today's video. I'm going to use those 3 wires with our mic tuning 8-gang low voltage lighting accessory controller. Now on this controller I have 8 switches, and I want to mount just this right here on the dash along with the radio, maybe the gauge for this right here battery, and maybe the Navitas controller. Not sure, I haven't figured that out just yet. So on these 8 different switches here, this top one right here, this red button, this is to power all of these switches on or off at the same time. This button right here in the middle is my dim control button, so you can make all of these switches brighter or dimmer. And then you have an RGB button down here, and you can change the different colors of the switches themselves. Now what I have planned for the switches, and I'll tell you, I'll go ahead and let you know. Number 1, and not in any particular order or placement here, but I'm going to use one switch for my amber lights on the front, kind of like park lights of a vehicle, and my running lights out back, my tail lights. I'm going to have another switch just for my headlights only. Now generally on a golf cart, your headlights and amber lights come on at the same time and go off at the same time. I want to set mine up like a vehicle because this golf cart is so tall here. I've done it in a couple of other golf carts as well. That let's say you're behind someone at a campground and my lights are directly in the back passenger's face, I can turn my headlights off and my amber lights will stay on. Just like an automobile, I think it looks cool as well. So the next 2 switches I'm going to use, one's going to be for my rock lights and one's going to be for my wheel lights. The next 2 switches, one's going to operate a train horn or Amazon train horn. And we're going to set that switch to momentary. I'll show you all of that in that video when it comes up. The next switch is going to have like a 12-inch light bar to mount on the front of the golf cart because it just can't be bright enough. Then we're going to have 2 more switches left. There's a couple of different ways we can do the FNR switch. We can use one switch itself, or we can use 2 switches. Now I'm planning on running one switch for my forward and my reverse by using a simple 12-volt 30-amp relay. By doing that, I'm not going to have neutral through this switch like you would on a regular switch on a dash. Now I also have a set of reverse lights that we're going to put on here as LED light pods is mounted to a trailer hitch, and I'm going to include those on that later video to the reverse portion of this right here switch. So pretty much when we turn this switch on, the golf cart will be in reverse, and with the reverse lights will power on. We turn the switch off, the reverse lights will turn off, and the golf cart will be in the forward position. You know that if you leave your golf cart now in forward and you turn the key off, nothing happens. If you turn it on, you leave it in forward, you can go. This is going to be the same principle here, except there's not going to be a neutral off of this one switch right here. So once I turn this switch off, the relay is going to send power through the 87A terminal. And once we turn the switch on, it's going to send power through the 87 terminal. And I plan on using the last switch to turn my radio on and off to kill power to it. It may be a little complicated, trust me, it's not, and I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to do it on today's video. Let's get started. So on the bottom of your relay, you have 5 terminals. This is going to be 86. This is going to be 85. These 2 terminals operate the coil. This is pin 87. This is pin 87A. This is pin 30. Right now, with the relay not energized or the coils not energized, you have signal between 30 and 87A. So we put the continuity meter on there. You'd have continuity between those 2 terminals here in the middle. Now, once you energize these 2, 30 here and 87 will then have continuity. And 87A in the middle and 30 will not. So on the golf cart here, we're going to run our positive and negative out here to the coil, and it doesn't matter which side you put the positive or negative on. I'm going to run on 30 here. I'm going to run my 48 volt input from the golf cart. I think it's the orange wire. Now the brown and the blue wire here, one's forward and one's reverse. My forward wire is going to go right here to the center. So that means when the relay is not energized, it will be in the forward position. Once we energize the relay coil, we'll have reverse lights going from 30 here to 87 right here. The reason I'm doing reverse that way is because I also have some reverse light pods that I want to put on the golf cart as well for reverse lights. So once we put it in reverse, those lights will power on, and once we put it in forward, those lights will power off. This is a pretty simple design. You can do so much things with relays, but this is just one of the things we're going to be doing on the golf cart with them. Now I'm using these 2 wires here to activate the relay and to also run the reverse lights from the back of the golf cart once we install those. Now I'm just showing you this right here. I went ahead and crimped 2 wires together, and then I'm adding heat shrink to it. But these are the 2 wires that I have that should be large enough to do the reverse lights and the activate the relay as well. So we have 3 wires for our FNR switch on the golf cart. Orange is going to be our 48 volt input. Blue is going to be our reverse, and brown is going to be our forward. So the blue wire is going to go to 87. Brown wire is going to go to 87A, and orange wire is going to go to 30. I'll temporarily remove the 12 volt battery so I can gain access to these wires. So now we can go ahead and crimp the butt connectors to these wires to extend them for the relay. And the butt connectors I use also has the heat shrink availability, so we'll heat shrink those as well. Once we get done, we'll put all the wires in some split loom to hide everything nice and neat. Now what we have left, we have 2 yellow wires and 2 black wires. One of the black wire and one of the yellow wire will go down here to the relay box here, or the relay board for the mic tuning system here, so we can control it with the switch panel on the dash. The other black wire and the other yellow wire, that's going to go to the back of the golf cart, and that's going to give power to the reverse lights, or to the light pods that I'm going to mount on a later date. What they're going to do is they're going to turn the light pods on and off. So I understand some heat shrink would look a lot better. I don't have any of that size. I got plenty of black tape, so I'm gonna just black tape that. This right here is for our accessory reverse lights. And this right here is going to be mounted on the wall. We need to get a little bit of wire loom on here as well, so we can run these down into the switch panel right there. All right guys, so I have the yellow wire and the black wire in. What I did was, instead of running on top of the frame here, I ran them down underneath the frame. I just need to put this cover back on there. And I got them tied into the box here. Now once I hit this right here switch, the LED light on that fuse will come on, the red fuse right here. And you also hear the relay clicking. So right now, if we power up the golf cart by connecting the blue and the green wire on the dash there. The golf cart's going to be in the forward position. And once we hit the switch, it's going to be in the reverse position. So what that means is there's no neutral in this right here operation, okay? The only neutral that we'll have is by turning the key switch on the dash on or off. I'm okay with that. Now, we could have used 2 relays and we could have used 2 switches, but we have the chance then of turning the forward and reverse on at the same time. So that's why I did it this right here way. And plus that gives me an extra switch to turn like the stereo on, you know, or off, and we can listen to the stereo while the golf cart's on or off. So the only thing left to do is mount the relay. I'm gonna mount it right here between the solenoid and this back wall back here. I'm gonna just drill 1 hole in here. I made sure there was nothing behind it before I drilled. All right, so I have this right here bolt. It's for the relay there. Got it from the underside here. There's the relay mounted. Let's also find those yellow and black wires here. The reverse lights are something to only power up while it's in reverse. There they are. All right, so we just turned the battery on. I have a reverse light hooked up here. This green and blue wire is not attached to each other, but these 2 wires right here, they make continuity once the switch is in the on position. So we're going to go ahead and hook these up together. So the blue and green wire is hooked up, and it acts as the on and off switches on the vehicle. I'm not going to touch any of the switches on the mic tuning 8-gain switch panel. We hit the accelerator pedal, the golf cart should go forward, and it does. Now once we hit the top right button here, the golf cart should be in reverse, and our backup lights will also power on. They do. And let's hit the back button. There we go. So we can go ahead and hit the button again to put it back into forward. Once we do, our reverse lights would then turn off again. Just like that. Hit the accelerator. And we're done. This was a pretty simple install. Anyone can accomplish this right here. So just remember, there's not going to be any kind of a neutral position with this right here set up the way I have it, because we're going to use 1 relay and 1 switch. So in order to have neutral, we're going to have to disconnect or turn the golf cart in the off position. All right, guys, you may be thinking to yourself, well, how about if the battery goes dead? Will it still work? Here's the thing. The way the relay is designed to work, and since it's running continuity through it, the battery is not going to be hooked up at all. We're going to go ahead and take the battery all the way out for demonstration to show you right here. The battery's out the golf cart. Now we turn it on. We will not be able to operate in reverse, but we can still go in forward because of the pass-through system of 30 and 87A on the relay. And I definitely need to turn down the Navitas because we don't need that, especially in the shop. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching today's video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. Do you like this modification? I know it's not for everyone. I get that, but I thought it'd be cool to add to my golf cart. I just didn't want to add the rocker switch somewhere on the dash, since these are going to be my main switches for the golf cart. I think that's just trick. I understand it does not have a neutral. Really and truly, the neutral is just by turning the golf cart on or off. Okay, because if you wanted to sit neutral, you're not going to be riding down the road or going in reverse, so you really don't need anything. You can just put it and turn the golf cart off to power the controller off. Now, if you have the golf cart powered off, you still want to power the light on, you can still do that, you know, by putting it in reverse right here with the golf cart off, you can still do that to shine the light, but you just can't do that going down the road, which is totally fine with me. But anyways, that's today's video. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.